Okay, this last video is just about the complexity point. And honestly, the easiest way to earn the complexity point is to have a counter argument and to be able to argue against it. So that's the way I'm going to show you how to get that point today. Another way to do it is to connect it to another time period, or to show multiple perspectives on the same issue, which again is really that contrary argument. So this goes back to the thesis that I wrote. Again, if you didn't write a thesis with a contrary argument in it, then obviously that's something that you might want to consider when writing a thesis statement. Again, starting a thesis statement with although is always going to point out that you know that some people believe this, but this is what you are going to prove. And again, I just explained in the thesis video that the reason why it's worth doing this is a number of reasons. One, it's an easy way to earn the complexity point, as long as you do come back to it. And two, it's because oftentimes it's easier to argue against something that you've written, like that you have in black and white in front of you. And in this case, it is in black. Although some historians mark the Mexican-American War and the ensuing debates about the expansion of slavery as the turning point in the path to the Civil War, sectional tensions and disagreements over states' rights, economic policy, and especially slavery dated back to the Constitution and have been growing to the point of disunion for decades before the Civil War. So what I'm saying there is that some people would argue that it was really the Mexican-American War that changed everything for America, that we probably wouldn't have had a civil war if we hadn't have had that extra extension of our country. And then the debates that come up because of the all of the Mexican session that we get there, California, Texas, Colorado, Utah, all of it. After we get all of that, the debates over slavery, many historians would argue, is really what ultimately led to the Civil War. I am going to try and prove in my essay that actually these sectional tensions and disagreements and debates over slavery and issues of states' rights and economic differences really existed for the entirety of the United States of America, and that ultimately it was this long-running issue that led to the Civil War, not just the debates during that one particular time period. And the reason why I would want to do that is because the prompt is asking me for such a broad time period, 1787 to 1860. So it's clear that the prompt even wants me to bring up things that happened before then. So how do I do this complexity point? So the thing to remember is that the prompt was asking you to evaluate to what extent. And so really you earn a complexity point. One way to do that is qualifying or modifying an argument by considering diverse or alternative views or evidence. In layman's terms, by considering the other side of the argument. So I want to try writing a paragraph using the Civil War activity that considers the other side of the argument and explains why your position, as stated in your thesis, is stronger than the alternative view. So again, my thesis is here. So a body paragraph that would allow me to start earning that complexity point could be my first body paragraph, especially if I'm using the documents in order, because document number 1 is specifically about the Constitution, and I can't really go any further back than that in the prompt. But also I've mentioned it here in my thesis statement. So some historians have marked the Mexican-American War as the point of no return in the road to the Civil War because of the sectional tension over slavery that arose in response. However, it is clear that this sectional tension over slavery existed from the very founding of the nation. And I could say Doc 1, and then I could go into what that document is pointing out and what it's saying. This short little video is just sort of showing you that the complexity point is not an impossible point to earn, but you have to be thinking about it before you even start writing your essay. Oftentimes it's the point we don't think about until we're done with our essay, and then we have to go back and we have to figure out where to add this complexity, but it's actually something that should be sort of weaved throughout the entire essay. And it really starts by making sure that it starts all the way in that intro paragraph and moves its way through your body paragraphs as well. So I hope this little example helps some, and good luck. And continue to practice your DBQ.